Good morning, everybody. Ed Thompson. As you can see, I'm ready for the Advent season, which is already 2 weeks in. And I am delighted that all of you came today hoping to view a Y blast of interest and of importance. Some of you have already read the E-blast, and what that means is it is setting you up for this Y blast in the next few minutes. Folks, first of all of you wonderful, loyal viewers, thank you. I just love having you here. And yes, I know who's coming and who isn't. Secondly, you folks that have just come on as new viewers, thank you. I also know that you're on. And then finally, the people that are just coming on to seek and maybe look for something that they don't even know they're looking for, and I welcome them. In fact, they may not even know Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. So that's the introduction this morning of just telling you folks how good it is to have you out there. We're going to start today, quick review. Last week, we talked about regrettable relationships. And then we talked about relationships that were remarkable. So we contrasted the two. This week, we're also contrasting something, and let me just say, being prudent versus being either simple, maybe lazy, maybe apathetic. But anyway, the prudent person is who we want to stress and accent today. For you folks that don't know, Single Purpose Ministries loves to talk about relationships. In fact, that is our single purpose. Relationships with God, a vertical relationship with you and God, more of a horizontal relationship with you and others. And then finally, and we've been discussing this, relationship within yourself. Some days I tell myself lies, some days I tell myself the truth. Let's just say knowing yourself better is always a good thing. So today, we're going to kind of talk about the individual making prudent decisions. And we're going to start because I'm going to be borrowing from Andy Stanley some things that are very pertinent to our conversation. And one is Proverbs 27:12. And it talks about a wise man who foresees danger, and then he takes precaution. But contrast him with the simple man who walks along not taking any precaution, and he falls to the consequences of life. We're going to have some great examples of both of those men, and I must say I may role play in both sides, but I'm learning to be more prudent because as I get older, it's just paying more dividends to be prudent. You young people may think, well, I've got time to get prudent later. I would say start now, and you don't know where you'll be in 40 years as far as wisdom and prudence. So here we go. I'm going to give you 3 quick exercises, or actually examples. The first one is, what's it look like for Ed Thompson to be prudent? Well, I've just gotten on the phone today, and I've talked to the insurance people, and I want to know if I need more Medicare. Why? Well, I'm foreseeing danger. I could very well get sick, and I want to take the precautions that are going to be made. Even though my premium will increase, I still have the peace of mind, as you know, with the insurance itself. So that's just an example of a prudent man doing a prudent thing. Number 2, example. My sister told me this story, and I believe every bit of it. She said that the divorce rates for young married couples were going up and up. And the reason is they never planned to be with each other so much, either both working at home or whatever the case may be, they're on top of each other. And it's getting old for some of them. Some that have only been married 1 to up to 5 years are getting divorced. Now, here's what I want to bring the prudency in. I know so many people who have spent thousands of dollars on wedding day. I know fewer people who have spent $100 or $200 on a couple of counseling, premarital counseling sessions. What's wrong with this picture? Well, what's wrong with it? Obvious. They are putting their eggs in a place where it's not going to pay nearly as well as putting it in a prudent place that returns on the investment. So, just an idea. And now I want to go to what I call the marshmallow story. I've heard this story before, but Andy Stanley, Atlanta, he is a pastor there, and he tells this story. Imagine this. There's several 5-year-olds. They come to kindergarten one day, and they're immediately put in separate rooms. In each room, there is a little plate on a table with one marshmallow on it. Then they turn on the cameras in each room because they're going to watch. But here are the instructions. Each of you, and like I say, they're separate, each of you can eat this marshmallow right now. But if you wait 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, we will bring another marshmallow into you and you'll have 2 marshmallows to eat. Can you wait that long? Most little heads nodded yes. But when the teacher left the room, things began to get interesting. And people were prudent for a little while, and then they fell back and had some problems going for that very one and only marshmallow. And you can just play that out and know that even at 5 years old, they're trying to do the right thing, even though the wrong thing's so easy to do. So folks, now I'm going to go with this saying that I've used. Some people make things happen. Some people, they let things happen. And other people, they just sit there and go, what happened? And you've heard that saying, the prudent people are the makers. They make it happen. If they see it and they need to do it, they get it done. The lazy, well, they go on and let things happen because they don't want to get involved. And then finally, the ones who just don't know what's going on, I'm going to call them the simple folk who just choose not to be involved. With that said, I love how Andy Stanley talked about more of what prudence looks like. And I'm going to give you 4 examples there too. If I'm prudent, what will I look like? Number 1, I'll be out of debt. Huge. Most people aren't. But if I'm prudent, I'll get to a place where I can be. Number 2, I forgive people. Prudent people forgive other people. You say, well, why? Because you get better sleep at night. When you see them out and about, you don't have to run and hide from them. You name it. But forgiveness is good. Unforgiveness is what the simple do. Number 3, I love this one. I see people doing this. I kind of did it. Making adjustments now to give you more liberty later. In other words, write your own ticket. You get up to be a certain age and you can retire when you want to, hopefully, but without making good, prudent decisions, you're not going to be where you want to be when 65 rolls around. So the final thing, and this is maybe the key big item that Andy talked about, listen to this. The greatest regrets in life are associated with the prudent things that you heard, but you did not act upon. And folks, you hear prudent things every day, but acting on it, you'll regret it someday, according to this saying. I'm just saying I can relate. I'm getting up there where I can look back and say, I see what they mean. So what do we do now? I'm going to just ask you 2 questions. What should you be doing now that you're not doing now? Andy Stanley once again asked that. Great question. And then what are you not doing now that you should be doing now? So what should you be doing that you're not? And what shouldn't you be that you are? With that said, folks, I want to say that this is such a joyous time of the year for me, even with 2020. And so I'm going to round this up by giving you a little bit of a preview for next week. Join me on the video when we decorate a tree. Now, Ed Thompson decorating a tree, some people probably can't put those things together, but you will. And I really want you to be here because I think it'll be worth it to you. I am so glad to be here. I'm going to let you go and say, have a great week. Thank you, Dr. Stanley, for your help. And right now, folks, have a wonderful time getting ready for a great season. Love you all. Take care.